just a little bit, because even in that own world itself, I can still be binded up in a certain concept, uh, meaning like, they say the force shall free me. So I changed it up and said, I will free myself with the force, you know.
Mhm.
And so just diving into that Sith code and that mantra made me realize how to pierce through the veil of not only my own ignorance, but the ignorance that's around me, even through my culture, in the form of
Mhm.
peace. And it's ironic too, because I'm from Michigan and we always say peace when we're saying goodbye
Mhm.
to people and shit. So I'm always laughing, chuckling when I'm like, all right, bro, peace. But in my mind, I'm always saying peace is a lie. So I just got to remind
Okay.
myself type shit.
You know what? You know what's funny? When you mentioned the mantra, I was at the lecture in Cincinnati with Panic, and we were in the grocery store, and Panic was walking through the store saying, "I'm one on one with the force is me. I'm one." He was saying over and over. We're in the grocery store, and he just walking around getting stuff and saying the mantra to himself. I'm one with the force. I'm one. He did this. And he would do that. And I was like, when I said, what are you saying? And then he'll say it again. And then he'll just walk through this. I said, bitch, go get your shit. You know, it's like, go get your shit, and go to shop. Shit. But so we're shopping, but of course he being panicked, taking pictures of me and making jokes when I don't know. But at the same time, he's doing his mantras, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting that um he would he didn't only he would say things on video, but y'all he really was doing it behind the scenes. And he always said one with the force. I think he watched that last it was the last Star Wars that came out, wasn't it? I'm not a big I'm not big on Star Wars. I'm big on anime, but I wasn't big on Star Wars. But I did watch that last one because he said, bitch, you need to go see that. So I would be up on what he was doing and what he was working on. And so I find that very interesting when that he was using those mantras from the movie to become one with his higher self, to staying connected with his higher self, opening new channels. He was always
Mm.
experimenting. So, you said you were working with these deities, and when you said the deity, I thought Jiren. When you said in the black and red, I
Oh,
don't know. I
okay.
automatically saw Jiren. Remember? Do you know who Jiren
I
is?
don't think I do.
He's in the last in the like the most recent series of Dragon Ball after when they went to the universe.
Oh,
Jiren
yeah,
was
that
the one
boy.
that beat all their ass.
Yeah, yeah, he
They
fired.
didn't they he defeated Goku, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Jiren is big, bald, and wears black and red and had black eyes. So that's what I thought about when you said him for some reason. So maybe you need to fuck with him to see,
Absolutely.
what he can do with you. But it was so interesting too when you said the animes that I really would like to mention is Fate Zero. Not just
Oh,
DBZ, Fate Zero.
I do
I'm
remember
into
that.
the I'm into the all the series except for the Apocalypse. It was kind of start getting weird around that episode, but if anybody's into that, the Fate Zeros and they Noble Phantasms. I like the Fate Zeros because they actually working with magic and spirits and using symbols. Everything that Painter was talking about, they do in this cartoon, in this anime. So you get your symbols, get your symbols, your mantras, and you do this repeatedly to draw in your noble spirit that will serve you, your servant spirit that to serve you and protect you. So our Archer was my favorite. Of course, I like Saber. I don't know if you're familiar with. Are you familiar with Phase Zero?
I am. A good friend of mine that I lived with in Texas actually put me on the Fate Zero.
So
Yeah.
Phase Zero. So you have to figure out for those who haven't watched it. You got to figure out who the human person was to that spirit that they summoned. Because, like Panic said, and when you talked about this before, when a spirit cross over, they can evolve. They will change. They don't all the time stay the same and be something else. Just like those many paths of Oshun. Oshun has a different name, on the other side. So it's good to try to figure out what spirit is actually being summoned. Was the earth spirit that was being summoned, and who versus who the spirit is that showed up. I like Black Butler as well. I don't know if you know about that one.
I haven't. No, not that one.
Well, Black Butler. Well, Black Butler, he's a demon butler, but
Okay.
he is he has a balance of dark and light. He can be
Mm.
very bad, but at the same time, he's a protector. He's a savior at the same time. So it's good to see Black Butler if you want to know how to work with the demons, because that's what that mainly was about. And the inner child work, because the main person that he was protecting and Black Butler is a child.
Oh,
So right, so
oh,
you get into
interesting.
that, and yeah, you got to get into the Black Butler. I think you all would like that very much too, to understand the science behind that. And you self deify, so you self deify with the Darth Vader, with the Darth Vader, right?
I did, yeah, yeah, a good amount. And I was researching about the clip off through that first, or not first, but that video between him and Aline, Panic and Aline Bay, and that gave me a good framework on what to expect when working with Darth Bane. Um, and it's crazy because one crazy experience that I had, like I mentioned, my roommate in Texas, um, we actually clicked in the wildest of ways. So a little timeline. So worked with the clip off, and then I realized that I needed to work with Darth Bane, just because that type of entity is in the astral world. So I wanted to impact the astral world to a certain degree. And then when I started working with Darth Bane to a proficient amount, he was like, look, you need to get a martial art instructor and trainer, because this is what you need to do in order to get ready for this next level. So, all right, cool. So I reached out to Bruce Lee, because I had an altar for Bruce Lee. I was like, look, bro, I need like an instructor, if you don't mind, swinging him my way. You know what I'm saying? I'll be much appreciative of it. And lo and behold, I'm working at my place called Tivana at the time. And I meet a gentleman whose name is Ken. Uh, I see a tattoo with the Ankh, some Hindu inscriptions on his arm. We're talking for a little bit, and I'm like, "Yo, so like you practice martial arts?" He was like, "Yeah, I do. I practice martial arts." I was like, "Look, I practice magic. So if you teach me martial arts, I'll teach you what I know about magic." So we end up clicking, getting real cool.
Mhm.
He's actually one that put me on to Fate Zero. So we used to just watch, because I put him on the Panic. So we used to just watch Panic, Bobby Hemmett, and just watch anime for like 3.5 years type shit.
Mhm.
So that was an experience in itself, because I realized, like, I literally, like, through Darth Bane, he told me I needed a teacher. I reached out to Bruce Lee, yo, I need a teacher, and then materialized just like that
Mm.
quickly. So it was incredible to have an impact that actually hit this earth plane in that manner as well too. So like my goal was to master the calligraphic realm. And in order to do that, I needed an instructor who, funny enough, had a similar mythology to Darth Bane. This nigga's bald
Mhm.
head. He's a little bit shorter, but he definitely got the anger, or had the anger of a Sith Lord. Man, like,
Mm.
it was crazy. And he already was proficient in Star Wars, a little bit more proficient in the stories of Star Wars than I was in Darth Bane. He already knew about him and everything. So we was chopping it up on a whole nother level. So we would practice shit from cyclomancy. You know what I'm saying? Dissolving clouds with our eyes, working magic, working rituals back and forth. I taught him actually the dissolving technique from cyclomancy, and we was trying to like conjure storms and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay,
that's what we
okay.
was working
So
on.
y'all was having fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So we was really progressing. I mean, we still talk now. He's reteaching me as we speak,
Okay.
So he moved back to Ohio and everything. But that that just showed me the impact also further of these spirits and what they have. Like the accessibility that they have to like move and shift currents to make change happen according to your own will. So I was deifying myself heavily under that current. And he was as well too. And we did a ritual in 2015 that was so effective. We still feeling the effects of it now. We was
Mhm,
talking about it
mhm,
last year. Like, man, remember that 2015 ritual? Like, we saw 555 at least 3 different times in the month of May, which is the fifth
mm,
month. Um,
mhm.
and we are still. I mean, this dude is on another type of shit as well too.
The
Um,
reason why too, sorry, the reason why too I prefer anime is because anime seems to get into the subconscious easier than quicker than reality TV, than using real people. I think it because it plays to the inner child,
it
and it's
does.
something that's easy to for the inner child to understand and that the inner child enjoys. So it makes a quicker impact to the subconscious mind, so you can manifest what you want. You know what I'm saying? What you think
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, one of my favorites, Avatar: The Last Airbender, is so
Oh yes.
crucial, because he taught, man, that Avatar state. I'm still trying to tap into that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I actually
That's
met someone, check this out,
okay.
and you all have too. I actually met someone I was doing a reading for someone, and his higher self looks like Aang. It's kind of like when Aang turned into Avatar state. He's on here. Jazz, Jazz is his name. He be on here. I don't know if he's on here today, but I was doing a channel with him, and I could see it's like it's not the same, but he has that ball around him,
Wow.
and the eyes kind of, and but it's a little different, but he has that ball around him, and I was like, yo, I didn't expect that shit, you know. So it's always interesting to see what we actually are, and is being played out in the animation.
Yes.
So
Hey,
it's coming from somewhere.
check this out too.
Uh-huh.
My teacher Ken, his check this out. If you really like Avatar too,
Hmm.
okay. So I'm practicing what Ken's practicing, which is Kun Tao Silat. Um, his master's master is the one that created the martial art for Toph, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah,
What?
yeah,
What?
yeah. Straight
Toph
up.
was badass.
Yes, she is.
Listen, the Earthbender was badass, and the whole series. When she came in, the whole series just it amped it up. It made it
It did.
even better.
I
And did
agree.
you watch the movie?
Oh no.
The last one that came out? Oh
No, I
man,
didn't
when they
actually.
go to Kyoshi Island,
Oh, for
yo,
real?
she
Oh,
listen. The Kyoshi warrior Aang channels her, and she comes alive like in the movie. You got to see the
that's
movie.
dope.
That's the best scene when he becomes the Avatar Kyoshi.
She
And when he
bad.
becomes her, that she's talking to him and she's telling him, she say, "Look, you got to make a decision." He's like, "I'm a child." She say, "No, you gotta snap out of this. Every decision is not going to be easy for you to make. You got to make some hard choices. Is you going to save your friends? You're going to do what you got to do, or you're going to crawl back and hide like you did when he ran away." So he decided to step up to the plate. Oh my God! When he became that
Oh,
we became the Kyoshi warrior. Man, I'm telling you,
got
but
my
that is
leg
what we
jumping.
do. That's the self deification. That's how you amp your shit up, you know. And so I worked with a lot of lower level deities, what people would thought like Arishka Gal. I like working with her because her story, how Panic taught me or told me that how you self deify is you find your story. What deity aligns with your story? As a matter of fact, he came to Bartow and did the lecture, um, Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. If anybody get that
Oh,
book, you need to get that book. He actually did a lecture on that. I need to see if I still have that one. But The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. And by finding your story, that's how you know where your power is. And Arishka Gal very much I have a lot of similarities with her, and she was very, and she will pop up from time to time in my energy field, but there's so many because my energy is so multifaceted. I switch from this one to that
Mm,
one with ease because of who I am on a higher level. It's easier for me to just say, okay, it's not as hard as I thought it was when I first started out on this path. Actually, it is finding out if you know who you are, if you're comfortable with who you are. Knowing all that trauma, well, is a block. It definitely is a block. And like in Panda's class, if anybody took the class, Mind Control 101, he did the whole thing on the first, when we first started, that was the first part of the class, Mind Control 101, and how mind control through trauma was affecting your subconscious mind, but it was a way to reprogram it. And in the end, he would tell you, he said, we're not using the trauma, but we are using the repetition and the symbols.
mm.
But like you said, there's some struggle. That's still the trauma. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna enlighten you because you said in those dark
Yeah,
times, you still find the light, right? And so that's
absolutely.
why I was like, okay, we still have the trauma to a degree, but we got to know what is our trauma for us to elevate, or the type of trauma, I guess that's discernment, or the type of trauma that wants to pull you backwards and pull you down into the lower self and keep you stuck there, right?
Yeah.
So moving forward, when we're talking about your experiences with anime and self-deifying with, you say Darth Vane
Yeah, yeah,
or Darth Bane.
Darth Bane with the B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that different from, see, for me, is that different from Darth Vader?
So funny enough, he's the one. Darth Bane is the one that initiated what's called the Rule of Two, which is why Palpatine and Vader ruled together as two Sith. So yeah, so Bane is what Palpatine and Vader is the finalization of Darth Bane, his vision. Bane is the one that brought all of that shit into motion. He is the reason why Palpatine and Vader became Sith and were able to overturn the current of the galaxy from the Jedi. He's the one that initiated that shit.
Okay,
Yeah,
so do you see yourself through those different forms of the Darth Bane? Do you see yourself in those different forms?
absolutely. More so in the future, not so. I mean, it's interesting too because we talk about like current life, past lives. I've
Uh-huh.
been realizing that there are future lives too that you are to become. And through Bane and working through Bane, I see what I've become. What I
Okay.
am in the future, and how that crystallizing effect also kind of warps backwards. If that makes any sense. Um, so I see myself as Bane to become in that future. So my mythology with him corresponds to who I am in the future and what I'm setting in motion. Um, I'll give you an example. Before all that even happened in 2012, I created what's called my 20-year plan. So I put certain things into motion. I'm year 10 in my 20-year plan. Um,
Mhm.
I got another 10 years left. Whatever the fuck's about to happen, something's about to happen. You know, I became aware of certain patterns that ultimately is showing me like where I'm going to be. And I see myself as Bane in his mythology up into even his other, like in his dynasty of evil, how he even set certain things in motion. Um, and the reason why I like his story so much as well too is because it shows how you can create a legacy and how much you got to be a visionary to actually set things in motion 100 years in the future, 200 years in the future. Because
Mhm.
like I said, Vader is like the height of that dude's single plan. It's crazy to see maniacal thinking, and how he can
Mhm.
be so tedious with just certain things that will grow into the future. So like that's what I see myself as, a visionary and someone that's setting a new current into motion. I think who was it? I think it's in the book Clip Off, Dark Magic, and Goetic Magic by Thomas. I think it was either him or somebody else, but they were saying that there are certain types of magic. You got low magic, high magic, but you also have a certain magic that creates a whole new current of thought through one word. And that one word is what will carry over into the future and create new worlds, essentially. So I see myself as someone who's creating a new current, but also create a new world. And now my thinking, so out of the box, I'm like, well, how do niggas create new universes? You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how does that make? Because we're part of some other niggas' creation right
Yeah,
now of a
yeah,
universe. You
yeah.
know, so how do I get above the
Hey,
current?
hey, listen, I don't mean to, be no way, but I know I'm in some niggas' dreams. Hey, hey, it is what it is, right? It
Absolutely.
is. You listen, if you go back and watch Panic's video, if it comes out sexual alchemy, he said visa. You need to work with such and such, But he's in there talking about it. But I like you saying those creating those worlds, you do that. We all are one, right? We're connected. When I went up into the mountains and we did the shrooms, I was with Khadijah. I tripped hard. I tripped
Yeah.
hard. They couldn't even, everybody had to just stop and tend to me because I was done. And what I saw was when I stood on the back porch, we're up in the mountains, I saw all these worlds and little globes. It was a world in each globe, like bubbles.
Wow.
And each bubble had a world in it. And I could see the whole town, houses, villages inside of these globes. And they was unmeasurable. You couldn't count how many it was. And I was like, well, damn. I was like, and then I had to think about it. I'm inside one of these little bubbles,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
that's what I say. You say you're creating all these worlds, you in fact do. You're creating them and you're part of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
think
so
this.
that was an experience. I don't know if anybody else here have done any of the psychedelic stuff, but that was one way that I really got to really step out of myself and see a different aspect of the world. It changed that one experience changed my whole frame of thought about who I
Man,
was and who I
that's what's
am in this
up.
world. Yeah,
That's what's up.
I even got to meet my familiar,
Yeah.
and she's gorgeous. I have a big white python, and
Oh,
she wears diamonds. It's not like I don't know how to put it. It's hard to describe because
right.
um she has diamonds, blue diamonds in her head, and there's a diamond crown that floats over her head. And I
Damn,
got
that's
to meet her.
cold.
Yeah, she badass. And so I was like, this is something. And then I started to see different aspects of the serpent and the snake and what they mean, even in our even in the animation, Shenron.
Oh
Shenron's dragon
yes.
serpent. So, and there was different types of Shenrons. There was a real huge one. There was a stocky, muscular one. I can't think of their names. I just know. Were they all called Shenron? I don't think so.
I think the one from Namek is called Perunga or something like that. It's something with a
Okay,
P.
okay, okay. But that was the interesting experience. But going back to the animation, like I said, seeing the serpent play out in different parts of the movies, I was able to relate because I would see her.
Mm,
But I had the thing about it is, let me go back. I actually seen her in a meditation about 2 years prior, but this time it was more like she was like was more like she was there, like with me in the 3D when I did the shrooms versus when I did the meditation. It was like she was right there. Everybody was
damn.
freaking out. I had everybody freaking out. And then them like, get outside, bring out the door, put it in the sunlight. They like, put it in the sunlight, put it in the sunlight, put it outside. It was a mess. It was a mess. But they had to hang in there with me. They said if you I could do that broken down like if you cry, if what it means if you cry, if you throw up. I did all of them. I was crying, I was throwing up. I didn't want to be touched. I was in the corner, didn't want to come in the light, stayed in the dark. It was an experience, I'm telling you. But it
That's
changed
what's
me and
up.
how I saw life and changed my consciousness and how I viewed even what Panic had taught me. And when I talked to him later on about the experience, he was like, nigga, that's your experience. You know, it's not gonna, it don't have to be what I say or go along with what anybody say. That's for you. And that's another thing we have to understand. That's when I really start saying, you know what, I gotta really start creating for myself. And well, not creating for myself, um, being more accepting to my creations and what I was doing because I was a little bit I kind of like staying behind the scenes. I'm not comfortable. I'm learning y'all to get out, to bring myself out and speak more and be out more. And that's what that experience was forcing me to do. And I really
Dang.
got into my readings and I started letting myself be more seen in the spirit realm too, because I was shut down there as well because I was just still trying to figure things out. Now it's like I'm really comfortable in what I know. And through anime, it kind of a lot of times it solidifies things because I get to see it played out in the animation more so than in reality movies or sitcoms or whatever. It seems it's more easy to do it in an animation because it's unbelievable. You can do the unbelievable in animation, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can create anything in animation. So that's why I was like I really fucks with anime strong because you can get everything you need there. And even when in Penny's book, I don't know if were able to get it. Um, the you would have liked it. Did you ever get this one?
I didn't. No.
Okay. In the section, the look, I got it. In the section, the the great old ones. He did he breakdown of the Pirates of the Caribbean is in here. Um, the Nagas and Nas ritual. He talked about the great old ones, and it read like it put me in the mind of Star Wars, how
Really?
it was written. Like
Oh.
it's written like I read it when I was trying to read it. All I saw is sci-fi things, and it read like a
Hmm.
TV series to me. And he was like, "Well, damn nigga, what you read?" And I was telling him about it. So I was like, "Well, I'll see if I can find it." I thought I had it marked. Uh. Well, I can't find it right now, but that was the best part about this book for me was reading about the great old ones. And oh, the Kabbalion is in here too. That was one thing. We talked about that. You mentioned that before. Um, how well versed are you about the Kabbalion? Because I'm just now really getting into understanding it more than than I ever have before. I had one dream that I told Panic about this dream I had. Is me and Panic, we in a boat, and Panic's sitting in the boat. There's gators. You know those boats that the Italians be on when they be have the string. I mean they have the stick and they be going. It's like this kind of
uh,
curve,
I think. Is it like when they're
and
on
they're
a
standing up
riverbank?
with those sticks and they're going
I,
along. I don't know what they call those boats, but they're because in Italy there's a place where people live. The city is water, and they
okay.
have to go by boats.
Yep.
But that boat, we're in that type of boat, but there's gators in the water, and they're
Oh.
going wild in the water, just going wild. Panic's sitting down eating sunflower seeds. So he's just sitting there eating the seeds, and I'm like, oh, I'm freaking out. I said, the boat about to turn over, gators here. And he just sitting there looking at me spitting out seeds, right? And and the guys, Panic look at the guys, and the guys jump in the water with
Whoa.
the gators,
Yeah.
and they stopped, and they came back. And so now the boat ends up hit to the bank. And then when it gets to step out of the boat onto the bank, there's a tree intertwined. The roots come all the way down to the tree. The back of the tree is dark. And the front of the tree, I can see the light and the grass and the green and the rainbows. I can see that, but we're on the dark side. And
Damn.
when I told him about that, that nigga, he went insane. He was like, "Yeah, nigga, I bet I told you to sit the fuck down on that fucking boat." I was like, you know what? I said I was scared, freaking out. He said, and he would always say this, "What the fuck for?" Because I would have dreams that was like nightmares, and he was like, "What the fuck are you scared? What the fuck?" So you ain't supposed to be scared of nothing. And I realized that it's because he said it's just you. It's just you. So you got to if you stick with it long enough, it'll change. And that is true. I learned that is very true. If there's anything you think is chasing you, harming you, whatever, if you're able to face it, look at it, it will completely change. It might even talk to you, you know?
Yeah, I had
And he was
experience
like,
like
well,
that.
yeah. So that was my experience of being on the dark side of the tree with him
Yeah.
on the dark side. So how does that what's like I said, what do you know about the dark side of the tree? Is that also the dark vein?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That's why I like the Sith so much. Um, because the Sith is I would consider the Jedi are the ones who focus on the tree of life, and the Sith are the ones that focus on the clip off. They're
Mm-hmm.
very clipothic uh type of energy. Um and there's just for simplicity states, Bane, for instance, his story deals with getting initiated into the order of people who are dark side users, but not necessarily Sith or Sith lords. Um, and so there's like, um, he actually shows that he's an actual Sith practitioner through using the dark side of the Force
Excuse me.
in ways
Mm-hmm.
that his own contemporaries would not use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, so man, my mind's going a mile a minute because I actually really like that question because I could go in on
We
that. But
talking, we talking, we talking.
yeah,
We
so
here.
when it comes to the clip off, they talk about how there's 11 spheres, and at the very top is Thaumiel, and that the top of the sphere is Moloch and Bel, which one side is king and the other side is lord, and everything underneath that, depending on your perspective, because some people say it's underneath as well too. I think the clip off actually rests underneath your feet. I think it goes the opposite way where Thaumiel is on the foot and is branching upward into Nama, or what they say is the or the twin sister of Lilith. And
Mm.
I think that the actual branching of the top of the head going up, I think, is where the actual tree of life starts. Because in my experience, as I'm reading and researching, um, Malkuth seems to be the actual physical body itself, not the actual, like, the knees and the ankles going down. It seems like um, Malkuth is the physical body because your soul deals with the astral world, and the astral world exists just slightly outside of the physical reality. So in regards to Star Wars and who utilizes what force, I think that's why the Sith, for instance, use that mantra, "Peace is alive, there's only passion," because passion is the only thing that really stirs up the human body. That's the only
Mhm.
thing that really moves and
Mhm.
shifts us, really. Shit, gotta pay
Mhm.
rent. Oh shit, let me get this money. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
Versus if we're just thinking in terms of what a Jedi thinks of, there is no emotion, there's peace. Well, shit, man, you can say no peace, there's no emotion, there's peace all day and still get kicked out. Think of how many homeless people are out here right now. They're probably a little bit on that Jedi mindset because they're letting go of all their attachments. You know, I think a lot of people who are homeless are actually homeless by will, not by unusual circumstances, because it's the ability to let go of actual material attachment. And they're probably living great because they ain't got to pay rent. They still getting money. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
I don't know
mhm,
whether they
mhm,
got a big encounter what, but a Sith is a person that seems to cherish the material possessions, including their actual body, to the point where they want to master that shit to its highest degree. And that seems to be in league with the left hand path in general, seeking out power to be the master of one's destiny versus allowing oneself just to be swept by the current, and just picked up and oh, we're just gonna kind of go with the wind type of deal.
mhm,
And then when I grew up as a Christian, so I grew up with that pacifistic mindset of, oh, I'll just go where the wind tells me to go and I'll just kind of float around. But now as it initiate in the current of that thinking and action, like, nah, I'm actually producing the current and it's gonna go this way. It's not gonna,
mhm.
I'm not gonna allow it. And if there's a setback, well, it's gonna get stronger, and redirect that flow another way.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
going with the pendulum swing or going with the instead of just going with the flow, you go with the ebb and flow instead of just with the
absolutely.
flow. Right,
We're
right.
gonna
Yeah, I
ride
feel
that
that.
current. We're gonna
I
ride
feel
that
that.
wave, just like a
Mhm,
surfer. They don't always go against the current. They're gonna go for a minute until they get to the top of that wave. And that's how cause and effect works. The wave. Would you rather ride the wave with the cause or the causality, or would you rather be underneath it where that shit about to crash? That's the land and world of effects. I don't want to be in the world of the effects. I want to stay in the status and state of causality, always causing things versus being
mhm,
um, 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 affected by the effects itself. And that's a whole nother current in itself of thinking, because when you get into cause and effect, you start realizing that there's an effect before a cause, as well
mhm,
too. So there's like a little hidden science just in that alone. What
mhm.
happened before the cause? Well, there was an effect before the cause that caused the effect. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get behind those currents, see what's up with that, you
So you're
know?
exercising your power of will. You're like, I will because I can. You're willing
Absolutely.
things to be because you know that you can. You have every right to, as a creator, to say, I will this to be. I don't have to accept anything. We always have a choice. And if I said this before, um, if people don't know, I'm saying this again, I'm a therapist. And my theory that I chose to use is called choice therapy. And in choice therapy, William Glasser teaches us that there's 5 things that you have to have that build your world. And that's fun, love and belonging, freedom, safety, and love. Well, I said love and belonging. But anyway, and that's how you build your world, have all those 5 things in your world. So if I'm creating that world, this is what I will to be in it at all times, whether it's something that I don't like or not. I'm willing it to be. And that's what you said. I'm choosing to say, I want things to go this way. This is the way that I'm going. Instead of just saying, okay, letting all the effects that was happening before just affect me without having my own intention set for where I want to go and what I want to do. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and and your acid or your trip reminded me of a trip that I had as well too.
Okay. Tell me about
My
it.
I had an acid trip back in 2015, and it absolutely like shattered my concept of reality in general. And it kind of reminded me of Avatar. I had like an Avatar moment. I was tripping balls, like tripping. Like I was looking up at the ceiling and I saw like Egyptian and Mayan hieroglyphics moving and shifting on my ceiling until the point where my whole visual was shifted to the point where I was on a boat. I saw this random nigga with dreads walk up to me with a gold staff with the Wa scepter, which is the tattoo that I have right here. He had a
Mm-hmm.
Egyptian Wa scepter with the head of Set, because I deified myself under the influence of Set for a very long time, or Set Typhon. And so I saw that, and dude had like a whole bunch of gold plates on his boat. He was telling me, "This
Mm.
is my kingdom behind." You know what I'm saying? We're on a behind where he was pointing me where his kingdom was. It was like a whole bunch of mountains in the background, and it was very dark, but it was dim lighted with a sun behind it. That was really interesting. Um, and then I go down into the boat, and I see my dad. I see my dad's dad. I see my dad's dad, and the whole line of these niggas lined up, and I'm next. And they all wearing gold and navy outfits. Um, and that was a moment I'll never forget, because what I felt was a generational not pull, but I guess initiation. Like I'm next in line for something to be
Mm-hmm.
received.
Mm-hmm.
So later on, I get out the boat, and I'm looking, I'm looking at someone that looks like a Mayan, and this nigga is looking at me, and I'm looking at it, look back at me, and this nigga smirking, and the smirk and the chuckle that he gave was like, "Oh, you found me, oh, you finally found me, nigga," type shit, and that was obviously me in another timeline or reality looking back at me currently now. So I must have hid myself or did some type of ritual like 1,500 years ago, waiting for this moment, this lifetime for me to find and to like be like, all right, let's get this money type shit. So that altered my whole perception of like reality in itself. And then later on, too, that same year, I had a dream. For some strange reasons, I attract a lot of tornadoes in my dream, to the point where it just freaks me out now at this point. But it's a good one. I just had another dream about a tornado last week.
Let's see.
I wrote this dream down a while ago, but there was like 7 or 8 tornadoes being spawned down in my general vicinity, and I was running and running and running, couldn't get away from these mugs. Everywhere I went, there was another tornado dropping. Apartments was being uprooted, thrown, cars being lifted and thrown, and I remember I'm running up like a hill and it curves. And once you hit that curve, then you go back up. So I hit the curve and I'm going all the way up to the top of the hill. And this tornado literally is doing the same thing. Like it's curving, that same curve, and it's coming at me. So I get mad. I'm like, man, fuck this shit. Like, I ain't running from this tornado. I'm sick and tired of this nigga following me around. So I literally just look at the shit and I run straight towards the tornado. And I run, and as I'm running towards it, I'm like, I'm so fed up that I drop kick. Like I see inside the tornado there's some nigga on a chariot with 4 black horses in the tornado coming towards me. I drop kicked that nigga off the fucking chariot, and then I took control of the chariot. So I was like, all right, I'm glad that's over now. So I'm riding the chariot on top of the rest of the hill after finally facing that, and I'm looking into now, so like the whole setting is like a woods forest type of area, and a whole bunch of bears and wolves are looking at me in the forest. And I see like in the middle of the forest is like a portal that's like all blue in the background. And I eventually go through the portal. And that was the rest of that experience. But that wasn't the acid experience. That was the dream I had later on after the acid experience. So fast forward in 2020, I had did a ritual for about at least 2 years that I was building up on my birthday, just because I was like, man, I want to know what the fuck that do. Like, what's that gonna do? Type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's crazy enough how things happen, but In 2020, well, sorry, let me go back. In 2019, I experienced my first tornado through a ritual. Because I was fucking with the clip off, a little bit of Necronomicon, some of the deities like Zamasu from Dragon Ball Z. I was like combining a whole bunch of shit like a mad scientist. Um, and I'm telling you, I've never had such a quickly impactful ritual than that moment. It was 2017 in San Antonio. I I burnt my shit, and literally in 30 minutes, a tornado dropped right next to my house or my apartment
Mm.
that I'm living at. I mean, me and Ken's just chilling, and all of a sudden, the whole atmosphere changed. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, we get like a text message on our phone, a tornado drop down, get to the deck, you know? So I'm like, oh shit, this is about to happen. And literally, like me and Ken is like looking out our window. There's a goddamn tornado, like right there. We
It,
looking at it. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And we opened the door. Well, Ken opened the door. I wasn't about to do that shit, but I was peeping right behind him, like, oh shit,
mhm,
this is kind of crazy type of deal. Um, and so that was my first time experiencing a ritual be impacted that fast, that quickly and effectively, because the specific sigil that I was using specifically was a sinkhole. And I combined some of the other sigils, and so unintentionally, like I really 100% know that I manifested a damn tornado. So much so
mm,
that the entity the graveyard dirt that I used for that ritual, Obama that same day recognized that same graveyard as a graveyard full of slaves that was unannounced. Like me and Ken went to get
mm.
graveyard dirt from a specific graveyard, and we felt like somebody was watching us. I was like, bro, you feel that shit? Somebody watching our ass right now. Fast forward two weeks later, the tornado drops, and then Obama gives a award for this random black dude recognizing Nacogdoches graveyard as a graveyard of unnamed slaves. And
Mm.
a lot of my rituals deals with releasing the Titans from Greek mythology. I'm all about releasing the Titans from their bondage type shit. So that was a
Okay.
hell of a confirmation. So that was the first time I unintentionally experienced a tornado. So when I got to Nashville, I was like, well, shit, let's see if this sigil is really about this
Oh,
shit.
that's it.
And I guarantee, I tell you not, um 2020 in Nashville, tornado drops down after, and the correspondences was crazy. like I built up a ritual for 2 years. I had all these different types of sigils and energetic compounds on it, other things that I already knew that I worked with before. Exactly 3 months after I burnt it which was on my birthday. So my birthday is December 2nd. I burnt my ritual space on the 2nd of December. Exactly 3 months later, on March 2nd, we had a tornado in Tennessee. It was probably one of the most devastating tornadoes that hit in Tennessee,
Mm.
ironically, but it spawned in so many different ways, like 11 different times. Well, when it got to the place that I was at, I lived kind of like tucked in to my little area space. My apartment complex was completely annihilated, so much so that they had to condemn the building that we were living in.
Mm.
My apartment G, was the only apartment that didn't get affected by the tornado. Out of 99% of the apartments that was there, mine was the only one that did not get affected. It didn't get touched. Only a few wires was hanging off in a tree. And that really revealed my eyes. I was like, oh shit, like reality is
That
really not what I think it
confirmation. You
is.
got confirmation that your magic is working.
Now, not only that, 3 months later, I'm in Chattanooga, and a month before I'm actually a week before I go to Chattanooga, I'm with my ex at the time, and we're looking, just having a picnic outside. I'm looking up at the sky. I'm like, I know I ain't tripping, but do I see tornadoes? in the form of clouds. Like, am I tripping? And I didn't say anything, but she said something. I was like, okay, so I ain't the only one that's seeing this shit.
Seeing it.
So we go to Chattanooga that same week, and I guarantee you now, another tornado dropped. It was the first time they had a tornado in 20 years. It's called the Easter tornado in Chattanooga. So second experience of a tornado in 3 month time period. Then exactly a month later after that, another tornado dropped down in Tennessee, but I actually drove in it, like drove through it. It's technically classified as an E0 or a F0 tornado. But I drove right through it, which is by Andrew Jackson's uh like burial or some shit. But I've actually done work over there before previously. So I was like, oh shit, like, okay. So there is what I consider reality, and there is something that's called unreality, something that we just think is unreal. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
really do think that anime and some of these other cartoons do help us tap into that thing that we think is unreal. You know, we use the
Yeah.
statement unreal to describe things as unimaginable to us, but it's
Yeah.
still fucking real. So that
Yeah.
made me realize that which is unreal and unreality can actually transition into what we call reality.
If
Um,
you're a lucid dreamer like I am, so if you have dreams, Panic always told me get good dream dictionaries. Do you have any dream
I
dictionaries?
don't. No, I don't
Well,
actually.
tornado. Let me read to you what tornado. I have a
Okay.
lot of them. This is the Cloud9 Dreamers Dictionary.
Huh.
And it says for tornado, emotional turmoil, upheaval, terror, something, ideas, relationship that has potential for destruction in your life, sudden change, someone who sweeps through your life like a tornado, enter, does damage, may sweep you off your feet and move on. Is there a dramatic possibility, potential destruction, change on the horizon by which you feel powerless? And this one for tornado, this is Zolar's
Huh.
Encyclopedia and Dictionary of Dreams. And this one says, this one also give you numbers. So for tornado, the numbers for tornado is what's your birthday?
December 2nd.
First number is 2. Tornado numbers is 2, 18, 19, 35, 37, and 46.
Dang.
And it says damage caused by an honest over repressed rage will bring victory for you. Furious, wrapped up in conflict over the loss of your friend. Mild, it will be mild meanings, mild, will be overwhelmed and out of control in your own affairs. Warning of disaster in home and business or other property being damaged. A tremendous agitation. So, and it wasn't the six. I got 6 dictionaries, dream dictionaries. I got I got a lot of them over here. But and get this, and books on symbols. So it'll tell you what's going on in your life. If there was something emotional going on, a lot of times you'll dream about. Have dreams about tornadoes. If it's something that you feel like you right now you got a lot going on, you moving from here to here, you might not actually be stable physically, you might have a tornado. But you was actually doing spiritual work along with it. So you was manifesting this everywhere you went. You was showing proof to yourself. I think
Yeah.
you was showing proof to yourself what you could do. I remember when I went to in Cincinnati again, Panic Love White Castle. I think y'all know that. So we went to White Castle in Cincinnati, and Atlanta didn't have one. And then he told me, he said, we're gonna get a White Castle. And then I saw it online that Atlanta was getting a White Castle. He called me. He said, better respect my magic, bitch. Respect my magic. I said, okay, I got you. But how I did him was every time I went to New York, I hate cold. I hate cold. I hate it. I do not like cold. I'm from the South. I do not like cold. I'm from tropical regions. Every time we went, he said, bitch, you're gonna freeze this time. And I said, I don't have a coat. He said, I ran my North Face. I got you. Didn't need it. It was always hot. It was always warm. every time we went. We up there in October. It's warm. I'm chilling. I said, bitch, we came here 3 times and I ain't need your damn North Face. Respect my maggots, bitch. And he laughed. He laughed. But it was. So I get that. When that made me think about that, that every time we went up there, it was warm. And how you can manifest based on your own thought. Because it starts in your mind, right? It started
Yep.
in your mind, and everywhere you went, hey, you was creating these tornadoes to let you know ultimately what you think those tornadoes represented for you.
They were the representation of the work that I've done, especially with in regards to the Sith work I was doing. Um because that was an aspect of the Darth Bane series that really stuck out to me, was actually being able to manifest a storm. And that was actually on my 20 years plan, was like to learn how to manifest a storm at will, not just coincidentally, but through all my willpower alone. And so I see it as a representation of strength and the ability to pull power down into this world when you want to. So to me, it was just the manifestation of my own power.
I,
And
I also see like too. I'm seeing this like it also was a destruction of your old self.
absolutely, 100%. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I was working with the Sith work so hard, because that's why Anakin became Vader. He couldn't become a Sith Lord and keep his name Anakin. He had to become a
Oh
completely
yes,
new entity.
Anakin. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Okay, I'm following you now. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember Anakin because I watched the cartoon.
Oh,
I
okay.
love the cartoon
I'm
Star
watching
Wars.
that too right now.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
Padawan. I love her. I love the whole Padawan character. Um, what was her name?
I
I
think.
know this called a Padawan. It was his Padawan.
She got her own show now too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I was just peeping it. I can't believe I'm forgetting her
yeah.
name
But
right
I,
now.
I watched the cartoon because of her. I mean, well, it started. I just somehow she just stood out to me, and but she did it because she got her own show now. She got her own action figures and everything now too. Well, I can't think of her name, but I'm sure Legend probably know because he's into this heavy too. Um,
What? What? No, don't put that shit on me, man. Let me tell you something. I am 55 years old. I'm proud of my age. I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about, but I'm enjoying this shit.
you
Please
in the
don't
Star
stop.
Wars, nigga? You in
Y'all
the
gonna have
Star
to.
Wars?
Oh, Star Wars. Yeah, but I stopped watching that shit like, after, I'm old Star Wars, not this new shit.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you're in the old
Respect,
stuff. Okay, okay. I
respectfully,
know the
yeah,
old
but
stuff too, but the new stuff, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm into the new shit too.
But I am
Um,
enjoying this shit. Y'all making me want to start watching fucking anime and shit.
you got
For real.
to. You got to.
I think my brother Jorak in the building. Y'all right on his frequency with this shit.
Well, you know what? You chimed in right on time because let's do a Q&A for Brother T. Anybody got any questions for Brother T?
Okay.
Jurak?
Comment at
Love? Okay, love, go ahead.
the name is Ahsoka.
That's so,
Mm,
yes,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Thank you all so much for sharing, for the share, for the build, brother Chance. It's wonderful hearing you share your experiences. What is on your radar? What are you working on in terms of like? Do you have any goals in your immediate future moving forward? Anything that you're working on for some of these experiences and knowledge?
Right now, just to solidify what I already know, make it concrete, as well as to unlearn some things that, I picked up along the way on my journey that still inhibits me. So, right now, like I run my own business that integrates well with my magic as well. Like I actually produce my business off of the magic that I've worked with too. So
To do.
right now I'm working on intertwining that magical journey with even the concept of my business as well, which has been making it really successful as well too. So I'm taking there's a guy named Michael Kelly, who wrote the book Aphosis, as well as Book of Divine Madness. And that's the gentleman that actually said, you can create a whole world through just one word. So goal now is to take this business that I've made and create a whole new current and shift the dynamics of just certain cultural norms. So that's my biggest goal right now.
Cool.
Definitely here for
Yeah. Anybody else got any
Appreciate you
questions?
chiming in.
I don't have a question,
Go ahead.
but I do have a comment.
hmm
I just want to say it's refreshing and salute to all y'all. Panic touched a lot of people from a lot of different places. When I was in Panic's class, it was people from UK, Australia. Like, it's very refreshing to see him touch people and everybody have their own personal experiences and enlightenments, that he dropped seeds in. So
hmm
shout out to you and shout out to Panic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's what you were saying. You said there's some things you got to release, and I was like, oh, wherever you at, I don't want to be because my tornado, tornado, tornado might drop down because I'm sure got to go.
Yeah, I'm
So
way cool now.
yeah, you know, funny. You be like, damn, I had a dream about a tornado. So, but you still can use that whirlwind type of energy to cleanse yourself. You can make something like a bath. I did have some. Oh well, no, that's different. I do have some hurricane water, but that's on that. But
Oh,
that
dang.
yeah,
That's dope
Florida.
though.
Listen, living in Florida, you're gonna get some hurricane. You're
For
gonna get
real.
some hurricane water. But you can use that as a cleansing exercise for yourself to see yourself in a tornado to cleanse those energies that no longer serve you. If you feel it's something that's hindering you, like Penny says, repetition. You keep telling yourself, you know what, this don't serve me. I don't, I'm moving on from this, whatever it takes. And see that whirlwind just cleans in your energy. Tornado come around you. Kind of like Aang when he
Yeah,
turns into the avatar and that ball kicks out.
yeah.
That's cleansing for him. It's a blue color. You can give it a color
Ooh,
and cleanse your energy like that to remove those thought forms from your energy field that no longer serve you. All right.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
AVs,
yes, go ahead.
before you go off, could you hold those two dream books up real quick again? I like to screenshot them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna post
same.
them to the group. I'm always gonna
Oh,
post
okay.
them to the group.
Okay,
Yep,
good,
I'm gonna
good,
post them
good,
to the
good.
group.
All right,
Y'all, I got so
do
many
that.
dream books, it
Excellent.
don't make sense. I got a lot of them because I do a lot of lucid dreaming, astral traveling and stuff like that. I remember Panic was the one that introduced me into coming to see about you. Like how how you can go see someone in the astral realm and working with entities that way or other people. Um, and that's how I realized I had to get some dream dictionaries. Every time we were out and we would go to find a botanica to go to, he would buy, look for dream dictionaries or books on symbols. Definitely books on symbols was one of his main things he looked for. A good place to look for books, y'all, is your local library. The books that they're throwing out, they be over in the corner. I got so many books. Matter of fact, I got this one book. I ended up giving it to Panic, but I had to buy another one. That this was like it was 25 cents. It was they had them marked down to 25 cents. Can you see this?
Dang, that look fire.
Dictionary de occult. It was 25 cents in the library. So it basically is just a dictionary of different old school stuff. This book was copywritten in this is an old book, y'all. 1988, written in 1988. So check out your local library and the books they have with it that they consider outdated that they don't want. I found a lot of science stuff over there, metaphysical stuff over there. In this little town I'm in now, I didn't find shit up in here in Georgia, huh? But anyway, um, I have some other questions I wanted to ask you before we go. Um, give me 1 second because it's on this. But you told me. Okay, the current event. That's what I want to ask you about. What current event you think is playing out that goes along with which anime? Like what current event you think right now is being represented that's already been shown in anime?
I think Dragon Ball Z. I think Dragon Ball Z, yeah. Because ever since they revamped Dragon Ball and made Dragon Ball Super, I found that it's really interesting that they um added the new Super Saiyan transformation, the Super Saiyan God transformation,
Mhm.
and utilizing the key, that divine key energy through Beerus training as well as Whis' training. And when that first came out, I was doing some research and found out that there's like 4 stages of alchemy. And in the book that I've read, they said the final stage of alchemy is gold, but it's a goldish, reddish, almost burgundy type of color. So when I saw Goku and Vegeta do the Super Saiyan God transformation, that to me made me realize that there must be some niggas around here activating that gold, that alchemical gold transformation right now, because one, in the unconscious mind, we're these things don't just happen up by chance. There's a reason why they're trying to put this out there for explanation, rather it's conscious or even unconscious. I've seen some videos that's been pretty amazing. They're like people tapping in to some
Yeah.
incredible
Yeah.
things, just deconstructing what we think is material existence and what's actually possible. So I think Dragon
Mhm.
Ball Z is right on the money right
Okay.
now.
I don't know if you've seen Shaman King.
Shaman King?
It's
No.
kind of new. It's a new kind of new anime that came out. It's on the money. Y'all got to get. I'm gonna post it. If there's some episodes, I'm gonna post to the group what the cartoons, the episodes that we talked about, so you can see for themselves how hard they go with our science and these cartoons and these animations, Japanese animations, by the way, and how they depict our life as the gods. And you know how we got to look between those symbols and know that they're still talking about us. It's always gonna be us. But the Shaman King also still the last airbender, I think is still applying to now. Um and I think everybody will be really get into it once we after we done talked about this, and then you all see how these animations going in on us. And the thing about it, it's blatant. It's not like you gotta really look too hard because it's cartoon. They like people don't believe it anyway. It's just fantasy. So they just go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah.
So that's what I love so much about
Miss
it. So much about it. Yeah.
Miss Visa, you mind if I speak? Since
Go
y'all
ahead. Go
talking
ahead.
about the anime, and you totally right. You right on the money with the Shaman King. I watched that and I was like, oh, I do stuff like that. But have
Yes.
y'all seen Jujutsu Kaisen?
I heard about it, but I
Yes. Yes, I have.
It is literally an anime on occultists, and they are summoning deities. It is really dope. Y'all should check that out.
yeah. And
okay.
there's also one called Anju, something like that. But anyway, he is the town magician and how he battled. Oh my gosh, y'all. How he has to go into the towns and um he don't listen to no damn body. Everybody bow down to him. He don't listen to nobody. And the things that he do though, the demons that he have to work with. And I'm like how the demons manifest through flutes and instruments and man, yo, it just gives you a excuse me, an idea, a clear idea of how um, we're being controlled and where spirits actually exist in this world, in this realm, through our music, through our clothes, our aesthetics, all of that stuff. I was watching too, not too long. It's a guy on TikTok who's over in the UK, and he just randomly, I don't know how this ties in, but he randomly talked to people on the street, and he would ask them questions. Who's the dumbest? Who has the lowest IQ? What country has the lowest IQ? US. What country? We was always the lowest of everything. But I'm telling y'all, we are the American gods. If y'all haven't watched that show, you need to watch American Gods. It's on Stars. It's on Stars.
Yeah, it's on Star. It's on Star.
You
And
gotta watch American Gods. Over
I
here,
got into that.
I love my Black American people. I'm telling y'all, shit. Everybody copies you. I'm gonna talk about this later. How in another thing, because the narcissistic society system that we live under is perpetuated every single day. If anybody want to say, if anybody ever you hear anybody ever say, "Well, I never, was subjected to narcissistic abuse," that's a lie. You live here in this country, yes, you have. You know, and it's like this umbrella that we're under. I see it get played out all the time, and this cycle, like Penny said, the repetition of the trauma and the symbols being portrayed to every day to keep us locked in a type of mindset that doesn't reflect our true potential and who we are. American, listen, y'all on here, y'all the shit. Y'all just don't. Everybody wants to be you. They take everything from the Black American experience and try to recreate it. I don't care what Africans say. I do not give it. I don't care. The Black men over here, through hip hop, through our inventions. I mean, it's so amazing how
And
this,
I would even argue to say, Visa, that it's always been like that.
Yeah,
yes,
I would
yes.
agree.
It's, they got
Even
us
with
looking east.
crumping,
Yeah,
the whole
they got
world
us looking
crumping right
east.
now.
But this was the old Egypt. That shit over there was the new
Yeah,
Egypt. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
That was their Hollywood on steroids, basically.
Yes,
From
yes.
my
And then you
stance.
get mad for saying you're indigenous American. And people can't if I claim to be, I didn't even say Native American, I say indigenous American. If I got to go through this whole thing of explaining my red complexion, my cut tone of my skin, and my way my grandmother looked, I'm not denoting anything with African history or who we are with our African sisters and brothers or whatever. I'm not saying none of that is not true, but I know for a fact right here is some thunder beings right on this. What I've witnessed through you all and what I've experienced in the spiritual realm, I'm telling you, here is where it's at. They didn't come up with a series called American Gods for nothing.
For real.
Everywhere you go, and then oh, it's like a system is set to attack. Why so much effort is put into destroying Black Americans? On all ends, we get it. We get it
And
from everybody.
and if you look into the records of Egypt, they say Osiris came from the west to teach civilization to
Bingo,
Mm.
everyone else. And
bingo,
this is
bingo. Yep.
the further, and his oldest title is Kenti Amentiu, is foremost or chief of the Westerners. So, and
Mm.
if you go into Mexico and look up the reeds, the Mexico has a flag or a symbol that's the reeds. That's the field of reeds. We living in the field of reeds, which is the as legend mentioned. This is ancient Egypt before the dynastic period. I'm really big into studying pre-dynastic Egypt. So I started off researching pre-dynastic Egypt in the times of Set,
Mm.
before the followers of Horus came in and started shifting the dynamics. But if you look into the current of like Mexico, they have some of the biggest and oldest pyramids in the world. Bigger than this. They got one in West Mexico that's double the size of what's in Giza. You know,
Mm.
and then also just a tidbit on Dragon Ball Z. Um, Goku's story is based off of the Monkey King,
Yep.
which is the Chinese
Hanneman.
example of Hanuman.
Hanuman.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
and, and
Hanuman.
and what's his journey to the west? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Even Goku's Kamehameha. You know what I'm saying? It's named after King Kamehameha from Hawaii with
Mhm.
dark skinned Negroes. they they
Mhm.
they put
Mhm.
it all there.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. And when you brought that up, that made me think about Hanneman. I actually gave birth, well, to Hanneman's mother. My grandson, Caden, he is Hanneman energy. My granddaughter is Kali, and the youngest one is a Ganesha. I'm gonna post the pictures. My first husband, my ex-husband, he's East Indian. So Penny just say, "Hey,
Dang.
you tap into that shit, girl. You you got all that fucking DNA now. You he's like, you better tap into that Indian shit." And so um they have a strong Indian heritage, my kids do. My kids are so mixed up their blood, their race, but still seeing that play out in my grandkids, what you just said, and when I think about the role and the things that they do, um, and in correlation to Dragon Ball Z, I still, man, I got pictures. You know, I'm gonna post pictures of them, and people can see it for themselves who they are. Um, in closing, anybody got any more questions or statements? Okay. Well, this is just like, I want you to stand, Terrence. This is just the beginning. This is just us getting started to figure out how this is going to flow. This is the foundation, the beginning stages. I hope to have each one and everybody come on here, but come back in their own right, and we'll do this again on another level. But I just want to get started, get people out there, know who you are. Um, Tell us what you do again. Give us your information again, and the websites, how people can reach you. What's your service? Tell them what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I run a mobile fingerprinting company that produces background checks for people who need like jobs to get licensing. I also run a company that does mobile notaries, also like international notaries. I basically charge a lot of white people for high services. I charge a reparation tax, so
Mhm.
they pay well. That's how I
Good.
sustain myself right now. So um, I also am looking to do other projects in the near future, but you can also find me social media, Terrence Harris or Terrence Lamont Boone on Instagram. My Facebook name is crazy, it's long. There's a bit of a troll name as well too, so it's kind of hard to find. But if you want to chop it up, just hit me up in the
Well, post all
Telegram
your
group.
information when you get a chance. Post it to the
Okay,
Telegram group so everybody have it. But
okay,
your business links are on the flyer as well. If anybody don't haven't seen it, if anybody had a business, I put their websites on that flyer. But post your information to the group so people can get at you.
okay, absolutely, will do.
Um, I will finish with my list to watch, and anybody else chime in. Dragon Ball Z, Fate Zero, Shaman King, Black Butler. Um, hold on. Y'all chime in while I'm thinking. Uh
Black Clover.
oh, Black Clover. Oh, the seven deadly sins. The Avatar, the last Airbender. Terrence, you got any?
Blanking out. The new Star Wars Acolyte is pretty decent as well too. I know they're getting a lot of fire for it right now, but I think that's something worth checking out.
Okay, and I know there's also one DC movie, but I don't know which one it is. I'm gonna have to find it because it was a doing magic, but it was with the younger the younger Batman and Wonder Woman Legends. I can't think of the name of Legends or Legacy or something like that. I have to post it, but I'm gonna post them after we hang up here. And I know it's another one that's slowly missing me that I just watched. What's the name? The one you mentioned, Jarak. What's the one you mentioned? He mentioned one earlier.
I'm here. I'm at work though. It's Jujitsu Kaisen.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. 10-4. All righty, guys. If anything come to mind, I posted it in the group. I appreciate you coming on, Brother T, and everybody else that attended. Thank you for coming, showing love and supporting as we keep this thing rolling. Up next, it'll be Brother Ricky Skills talking about arts and metaphysical science. Okay. All right. See y'all next week.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace. Appreciate you
Peace.
too.
Peace.
Peace.